It's about leadership in Africa. Um, and until Africans demand the sort of leadership they need to fix their problems, we will have the continuous issues you suggest.
Long before becoming the head of a major political party, Alexander B. Cummings was making history in the corporate world as the first Liberian to run a major section of Coca-Cola, a Fortune 500 company.
First thing I can tell you about him is he has a big heart. Um, he loves his Liberian people, and he always loved Liberian people and his country, always. He's a giving person. He likes to give people the benefit of the doubt. He'll trust you first until you prove otherwise.
I ran the Coke business in Nigeria. I was business unit president for about half of Africa. And then for almost 7 years, I ran an entire Africa group for the Coca-Cola company.
Born in 1956 at the Old Government Hospital in Monrovia, Alex, the third of 4 children and the only son, he would attend elementary school at Demonstration and high school at the College of West Africa.
Alex and myself, we became friends in 1971. That's about 45 years ago. We met in the 10th grade and we just became fast friends.
I love music. If people want to know, I actually like to dance. It surprises people that I do. And actually, I think I'm a pretty good dancer, by the way.
He's a good dancer. Yes. But so am I.
Don't let nobody stop you from having yourself a ball.
I remember there was a song that was called Mr. Big Stuff. Who do you think you are, Mr. Big Stuff? And that was a song that he used to like a lot.
Alex probably started to dance. I know this even today when he likes a record, he sings it. You know, when he's singing it, he's dancing it. You can hear him humming the songs, you know.
And one characteristic of Alex was he could snap his finger. I mean, he would snap his finger while he's dancing. You could hear it all over the place.
I have a great sense of humor. Again, that's not always obvious, but I like to have fun.
When he lets his hair down, he loves jokes. He's a dry sense of humor, but it's funny to him, which is okay. But yeah, I mean, he's just like everybody else. He loves to dance. He loves being around people and entertaining and letting his hair down. So, yeah.
As a child growing up in Liberia, I had a few memorable moments. I always enjoyed playing football. Again, as I said, it's not something I played very well, but I played with a lot of enthusiasm, and so I'm still a big fan of football.
By 1980, Alex Cummings returned to the United States to continue his education. He attended Clark Atlanta University, where he earned a degree in business. There, Alex Cummings also met his wife, Teresa.
I was coming from class at Atlanta University one day, and this young lady yelled across Spelman's campus as I'm walking on and said, "Teresa, come and meet your future husband." And I was like, who is this guy and why is she embarrassing me on campus like this? But I went up and I met him and I said, "How do you do?" He had just come over from Liberia to pursue his master's in business.
It was always the plan to go home after undergraduate school, work for a few years, get some real life practical experience, and then come back to graduate school. So that was not because of the cool necessarily, or because I wanted to go back and get an advanced degree.
And so we started dating, and by 1982 we got married.
I met Teresa after they had gotten married. After they had gotten married, he brought her to New York, and we all went out to eat in the village, in Greenwich Village.
After graduate school, Alex accepted a role at the Pillsbury Company. There he quickly moved up the corporate ladder.
We moved to Minneapolis, where at the time I was pregnant with my daughter, Ayo, the eldest. She was born in Minneapolis. He worked for the Pillsbury Company at the time. We were there for 2 years. Then we moved to Allentown, Pennsylvania, where I was again then pregnant with my son, Boy Kai. Then we moved to New Jersey, a little small town called Hopatcong, New Jersey. At the time, he was working for Haagen-Dazs. And then he moved back with the Pillsbury Company back to Minneapolis 3 years later. We were in Minneapolis then from 1987 to 1997. 1997, he received a call from a headhunter who was interested in recruiting him for the Coca-Cola Company.
And then I joined the Coca-Cola Company, where I lived and worked in Nigeria, ran our business in Nigeria very successfully. Moved to Nairobi, Kenya, where I ran half of Africa for Coca-Cola from Kenya, did that very successfully. And then I moved to Morocco, running a different half of Africa, and then ultimately to London, where I ran all of Africa for the Coca-Cola Company from London for almost 6 years. Moved our group offices to Johannesburg, and so I lived in South Africa running the group from there. And then my last job at Coca-Cola had global responsibility for most of the company, most of the functions.
From class president to Coca-Cola CAO, head of Africa, Alex Cummings has now turned his attention to a difficult task: politics.
And I asked him, I said, why are you doing this? He said, Robert, everything that I am today, it's Liberia that made me to be what I am today. So I have this deep desire to give back. So then I asked him, but why necessarily looking at the top position? He said, because that is the most impactful way that you can make a change. He wants to change the paradigm, do a paradigm shift in Liberia thinking.
Is seeking the presidency the only way to change the lives of Liberians? No. Is it the most impactful way to do it? Yes. If you want to impact all 4.2 million Liberians, that office is the best way to do it.
Alex will create the atmosphere, knowing Alex and knowing the good intention Alex has, knowing the person Alex is. He will create the atmosphere that will provide opportunities for that market woman, for her to be able to do her business, to provide micro loans for her if she needs it, to be able to expand her business, and for her to be able to support her family.
He said to me, he said, Robert, I'm doing this because I think I can make a difference for Liberia. If I'm not successful, I'm just gonna roll up my sleeves and be of help to our country. So it is not like this is an ambition that if he doesn't get, he's gonna stop loving his country.
He does a lot behind the scenes. Doesn't have to necessarily get accolades for it. He doesn't mind that, just so it gets done. So that's the kind of person he is.
I'm optimistic about the Liberian people. I believe in the Liberian people. I believe we are smart people. I believe we're industrious people. I believe we're hardworking people. And I don't accept any of the contrary views of who we are and what we can be. Are there things we can do better and different as a people? Of course there are. Are there things I would like to see us do differently as a people? Yes. But again, when you focus on the positives, when you set high expectations for people, they tend to live up to those expectations. And we have many examples of Liberians from the past who did very well and were first in doing many things. And we have Liberians today who are first and who are doing many good things that would move our country forward. So because I believe in Liberia and Liberians, I believe our country has a positive future, and I'm optimistic about that future.
Alex just wants to make a contribution. He just wants to make sure. He's a man who has learned a lot of best practices. He's a man who has run multi-billion dollar corporation, and be at the top of this organization, Coca-Cola.
He likes to challenge you, to push you, because he can see potential in people that they can't see in themselves, and he can nurture and push people towards their potential.
He just wants to use the best practices to transform the Liberian society, bring another perspective to the way we've always done things. He is genuine. He is level headed. He is not someone who is, is overwhelmed by money, by success. He is just a modest, easygoing, good guy. And I hope Liberians will get a chance to listen to this good guy talk about what he wants to do for our country.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank you for joining us tonight on another episode of Unapologetic. My name is Duke Strider JJ. We're here to be tough talking, talk about the issues impacting our people. While we're waiting to have everybody on deck, please share the link. Get your friends here. Tell our people that Duke is on live tonight on Apologetic, and we're holding back nothing. You don't want to miss the night because we're going to have an interesting conversation. But until we kick the party, this is Panto Espanto featuring rap boy the Zogo, issues impacting Liberia. Let's go. Don't call me Zogo. That is Wapanto, a featuring rap boy, taking music to the depths of our society, recognizing talent, realizing the potential in our young people. Welcome to Unapologetic People. Again, this is your boy Duke. Bring everybody on deck tonight because we're about to get a little hot and heavy. And we'll pause before we kick off the show. My people, I just want to let you all know that come this Saturday, we will have something amazing happening in the diaspora and in Morovia. Let me first and foremost let you know that on Friday, um, I will be hosting along with somebody else. I'll let you guys know once we have that information. I'll be hosting Mr. and Mrs. Cummings on Providence TV, wherein we would do the prelude, pre-launch to our official fundraiser that kicks off on Saturday at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then in Monrovia at the party headquarters on Zoom. So you're in the diaspora. Please make sure that you're joining us to support a worthy cause as well. Meanwhile, we're going to break for commercial, and I'll be right back. Yes, indeed, we deserve a better Liberia, and that can be realized through the presidency of Mr. Cummings. Ladies and gentlemen, this is how we kick off tonight's version of Unapologetic. Let's go, my people. I want to say to my own my sis Miata, welcome and thank you for following. The lady Madeline Mayonga, Rosalind Diggs, Miata, all of our people who take the time to be on here tonight. I say appreciate you. Also on YouTube, on the Apologetic main page, a restream. We want to say thank you for following tonight. Please share the lingo. Let's get more people on board. And let's see how best we can make this happen. Here, Berta, share the link. Jackie, I can check my message right now, but please join the podcast. She's probably sending me some information about Liberian politics. A strong fighter, yeah. I see Bertha are happy now. Where is Quincy? Thank you, Sis Miata. Monkey, calm down, my people. Let us know how we're doing in the comment section. Of course, we'll send a shout out to people here tonight. Yeah, man. I see Sis Bertha dancing in the audience there. All right, so thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me welcome you to another episode of Unapologetic. So, I go live every Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time to 10 o'clock. Tonight, we'll possibly go into 10:30 as well because, we want more people to be part of what we're doing. This is a new platform I'm building gradually. As you all know, I lost my main Facebook page, and so I had to start all over. So, a lot of my contacts, a lot of my people have lost touch with me on Facebook, but that's okay. And I know some of you are here. So share the link, invite people, let them know this is an all ANC show. ANC people would need to have our voices, our people on social media talking. So it means a lot, for all of you to be here. In addition, pro-loving Liberians who do not want to be affiliated to political parties but buy into Mr. Cummings' vision and wants to see real change in Liberia, we welcome you as well. And also, if you have other opinions, we welcome you. And hopefully we'll be able to convince you and teach you something different that you didn't understand. So let me go straight to the conversation here. Today a lot of people texted me. Some people have been concerned that I have really reduced activities on social media over the past couple of days. Reason being, I had some professional stuff to take care of, and it was necessary. I just want to let you know. Notwithstanding, we woke up to another propaganda. You know, it is now so common to wake up every day. Thank you, Madeline. To something new, right, from those in the opposition. And the first thing I say when people reach out to me with those things, I look at who wrote the post, and then I tell you two things. Either that person understands what they're saying, or why are you even paying attention to that person? Because look, we're in a heightened political period, and we have to be very mindful of the people that we're relying on for information, especially during a critical period. But let's jump to the whole thing. My people, before we started this thing, somebody's asking for the link. Let me share it. There's been a lot of things that have happened over the course of 1, 2, 3 years that got us to this point. And as those things occurred, we told all of you the details, the extent to which certain things were happening. We were upfront. We came and we actually welcomed me out. I appreciate it. We sat there, we talked to many of you, we educated you, and we predicted what was going to happen. Now, a couple of months ago, I remember we're on this thing called an all hands call, and is usually open to the public, wherein Mr. Cummings appear on the call, and he's able to take questions from Liberians. Welcome, Byron. I'm happy a lot of my people showing up. That's good. Mr. Cummings takes questions from people in the queue. He also sets the expectation in terms of happenings in the country, and so that people can be aware. One thing that Mr. Cummings said during that engagement that sticks with me today, and if you were on that call, he said, look, it will only get worse as we get closer to the election. These people see that I am a formidable voice, of force. They know that Liberians are buying into our message of change. And so the system will react. So just don't be surprised when you see certain things happening. Just know that it is all part of the plan. We just need to make sure that we're communicating our message to Liberian people. We're winning hearts and minds. We're letting our people know that we need the support more than ever before. And I stuck with it. And even on the back end, as we're engaged in this process, we're doing a lot of things to educate our people, to expand our reach, to recruit new people to the party. We are tasked with the responsibility to make sure that we continue to not only be firm in our decision making, but to provide checks and balances and counter those myths, those lies, those deception, and give all our people the right information so that when you come across those who are causing disturbances on social media, you have or you're equipped with the information to respond, but you know that this is all part of an agenda against Mr. Comics. So, what is his agenda? You see, way before the formation of the CPP, all these political parties came together and said, you know what? There was something happening in the country. They talk about corruption, they talk about nepotism, they talk about injustice, right? A lot of killings were happening. We had the situation of the auditors, and the question the ability of George Weah to lead. When the CPP were crafted, there are a lot of things that were done in the beginning. There was a certain thing that was placed in the framework document. And I remember that like it was just yesterday. A lot of people talk to social media and criticize, oh, the people organizing a collaboration for jobs and all of that. Everybody had to come back to the drawing board and make sure that they tweak those clauses so the Liberian people could then happy about things. All of us, under the leadership of Benoni Ure, witnessed on Zoom when an official signing of this document was actually done. Today, we know that this so-called exit clause that a lot of people have been talking about was inserted into that document by Benoni Ure. All of the things, the formation of the CPP, the documentation, and everything, we followed that process and we saw exactly what happened. Now, in addition to that, sometimes last year, I came to social media and I told you guys that there were certain political parties in this collaborating political party arrangement that were not taking their fair share, their shared responsibility when it comes to the financial contributions of the CPP. Now, let me remind you, the monies, I believe $10,000, that the initial capital that was needed to pay the fee for registering the CPP and actually having an account per the requirements of NEC, 95% of that money was paid by the ANC. The rest of the funds came from the ability part of the Liberty Party. So that means the Darius Dillon, the Yombri Kanga, the Unity Party, the ALP, none of them contributed a single dime to that money that was needed to formally register the collaborating political parties. I came on social media, I gave you a breakdown, I read to you a lot of things. I also revealed to all of you that certain political parties have not paid their share of dues as required by the CPP arrangement. And then I struck an important point. I said, usually when people are vested, when they're invested, when they buy into an idea, into a process, they show that they're committed by their actions, by the financial contributions. And I was very worried that the fact that the ALP, some section of the Liberty Party and the Unity Party have not taken, have not taken care of their responsibility per the due payments and membership of the collaborating political party. I told you all there was a warning sign, and we should be questioning UP and the rest of them as to why they have not contributed a single dime to the operations of the CPP. During that time also, let it be known that we were moving then into a period wherein Mr. Cummings, after the registration at NEG, when they did the photo ops, Mr. Cummings took over, and then we had to go into an election period wherein we have majority of our people up, right, to contest. We have some major seats that needed to be, to have been won by the collaborating political parties, and so it required resources. And then again, we came and we told you guys that the Unity Party, the ALP, and some sections of the Liberty Party had not paid their fair share of due payments that are needed to fund the operations of the CPP and to be able to financially take care of the responsibilities of those candidates that were vying or contesting on the seat of the collaborating political parties. Then again, we set the expectation. Why are these political parties not investing their capital in something that they claim is in the interest of the Liberian people and they want to work? Because we started saying all of these so-called propaganda. Way before the main election, we had the situation in Cape Mount. We can go back to the Nimba County situation. Every day it was something else running to the public sentiments to cause confusion and rifts in the collaborating political parties. Then again, we said, how is it that people who want the collaboration to work can sit in meetings, take private information from the CPP and leak it to a worthless Henry Costa to broadcast all on social media, almost revealing the strategy of the collaboration, something that should be private and not brought out here because you had other people from other political parties who would take advantage of it. Yet again, we called your attention to it, and we told the Liberian people to be very mindful of what was unfolding, raveling before our very own eyes. And it continued. The ploy against Mr. Cummings, they started with Nimba County, they undermined Phoebe Henry, they started doing all kinds of things. Even the initial arrangement where certain areas were allocated to the ANC, the fought, the lie, they created an entire situation. Every time those detractors started things, Mr. Cummings showed leadership in the interest of the Liberian people and for the collaboration to work. Mr. Cummings said, you know what? We will take our share of this responsibility and we will swallow the bitter pills because the Liberian people want the CPP to work. And if you think that at that time, because Mr. Cummings showed leadership and everything was fine, that these people will go away, they came back with something else. They did everything that they wanted to do to disrupt this man during his tenure, to the point where they started arguments in the heat of an election because the intent was to make sure they paint him bad and make him appear to the Liberian people as if he was not ready to do something, take on the challenge of leading the country. Oh boy, Alexander Cummings yet again proved those people wrong. He massively defeated them. And all of the ploys, all of the propaganda, all of the inside attempt to undermine him, he scored the biggest victory in the collaborating political party history, in the history of any collaboration in the Republic of Liberia, under the leadership of Alexander Cummings, the man who they claimed was not knowledgeable about Liberian politics, did not have the wit in him, the grits in him, was new to our body of politics. The Liberian people did not like him. This man had a massive win for the collaborating political party. Those who ran around carrying fake news and trying to do all of these things to undermine him, they fell flat on their faces. They were disgraced. They were ashamed. They were embarrassed because all of the things that they tried doing to Mr. Cummings didn't work. And you remember the old joke that they had, the ANC didn't have anybody in under Mr. Cummings that was actually in the House of Representatives and the House of Senate. Mr. Cummings shunned them. And the ANC ushered in some lawmakers doing a massive win under the leadership of Alexander Cummings. That noise died down. They were still unsatisfied. And after they claimed to have celebrated the win, even all of them, none of them were courageous enough to commend the efforts of Mr. Cummings. And you could tell when your enemies are embarrassed, those people who have tried to set you up for failure, and they have been defeated, they're embarrassed. You can tell from the guilt in their faces. But Mr. Cummings held no malice. He preached unity for the collaboration. His target was always about George Weah. And then right after, this man used his resources. The ANC diaspora funded the collaboration and got the likes of Darius Dillon and the Yumbli Ikanga elected into office again in heavily contested election in Grand Bassa. It didn't take too long. When Dillon went on an all-out assault against Mr. Cummings, they started nitpicking. They started talking about bringing those people in the back room and choosing one person. Then he went on social media to say, oh, Joseph Boyka got Lofa, Yombli got Grand Bassa, Darius Dillon Monserrato, 3 against 1. All of the bullshit they started. I'm sorry, this is unapologetic. And we told you, pay attention again. Those who were led into the CPP are starting again. They are coming after Mr. Cummings. Mind you, these are the people that say they were in the interest of the Liberian people. So they're going to claim that it is for the Liberian people. Well, the Liberian people believe that the CPP was in their interest, and they agreed to what was crafted in that agreement. As part of it, it was 3 phases. Let me go further. You remember when the ANC talked about the voters' perception survey and how they posted VPS was a joke all on social media. They fought Mr. Cummings to the point they only left it in there because they felt that they wanted the peace. But they said, you know what? It's just going to help us to determine. But we're not going to use that as a final, as a final tool in deciding who represent. Then Mr. Cummings said, in the interest of the collaboration, that is okay. Then we had a 3-pronged process. Number 1, consensus. But Mr. Cummings always told you that it was highly unlikely that all of those people who were vying to lead the CPP were going to agree unanimously together that one person, because they all have ambition. But what he said, all of us need to go to the VPS stage and then to a primary. And whatever the results are, the outcome of that particular primary is, I will live with the consequences and I will support whoever the victor is, because this is about the Liberian people. Mr. Cummings re-echoed that in every meeting he had with ANC partisans, ANC Global, doing the all hands on call. Even at a point in time when a majority of his political party and his diaspora support base were against Alexander Cummings' decision to stay in the CPP, he said, no, we will stay. We will stay because this is what the Liberian people want. I am not going to walk away. And we will live with the consequences of what happens at the primaries. But those who are masquerading and jumping on social media today, they had the ulterior motives. They had their own hidden objectives. Their intent was never to buy into the idea of the CPP because they felt that the collaboration was only created to ordain one man. And then there were some of them, perhaps, who were working with the CDC administration. We started from the onset letting you know that people at Costa were having conversations. I think as of late October, November last year, I had several shows. Go back to my profile. And I told you guys of a recording from WhatsApp that I had that showed that Henry Costa was making late night calls to Nathaniel McGill and other people. And I said, there is something that's cooking. These people are regime collaborators. They are enemies of the progress of the Liberian people, and they're up for something that we should not overlook. Everything that I said, and majority of us said, came to fruition. We knew all along that there were people layered in the opposition as agents for the Congress for Democratic Change. In 2017, my people, let me take you back. I was part of the Unity Party propaganda team in the diaspora. And I remember Mowa Yogba added me to the main Unity Party chat room. And I saw how those people accused Mo Ali of working with CDC and undermining Joseph Boycott. In that particular chat room that day, it was so, it was upside down. I wish some of you would have seen some of the things that happened, to the point Mo Ali completely exited the chat room because UP partisans believed that he was one of those people inserted into the Unity Party to undermine the Joseph Boycott campaign. CDC have always played well. They have always had people lay out in the opposition because they understood that some of our people are belly driven. They knew there was a price tag with people like Henry Costa and the Darius DeLon. There was no loyalty. Think for a second. Every time Costa came and attacked Mr. Cummings while he was leading the collaboration, when was the last time you saw Darius DeLon coming outright to criticize Henry Costa? Because they were in cahoot partnership. Bunch of sneaky individuals who had ulterior motive working with the CDC, because it was never about the Liberian people. It was about enriching themselves, hustling, using politics as an excuse to undermine the interests of the Liberian people. We also told you about the June 7 protests and how it was compromised because of the same battle-driven people. And I remember there's a clip that I have when on the SKTV show, Sekou Kena asked Darius DeLon. Sekou asked Darius DeLon about this allegation of people working with the Weah administration and compromise of the program. Darius DeLon said he saw it, he felt it, but he can't put his hands around it. No, he knew. Trust me, he knew. He knew. He's part of the same 6 and 7. They all knew. The entire takedown of the collaborating political party was orchestrated by individuals who were planted agents of the CDC regime. George Weah knows that 2023 is a pivotal moment for that political party. Weah knows that for the first time in many years, he feels threatened about when it comes to re-election. Those boys in the CDC were desperate for power. Those guys in the CDC, they were desperate, and they would have done anything to make sure that they gave George Weah a fighting chance in the the Congress for Democratic Change. They went to work. They bought the likes of Darius DeLon. Henry Costa was an easy game. And then they started using partners within the Unity Party to set this entire thing up. You know, I heard some kind of joker today talking about whatever happened was attempted to undermine, Joseph Boycott, and was Ellen. You see, only stupid people continue to blame Ellen Johnson Sirleaf for Joseph Boycott lapse in judgment. Can't you see? The man he has no leadership abilities. Wreck the entire collaboration. You will blame Ellen for A again? Poor excuses. And mind you, these comments are coming from people who were supporters of George Weah and still are supporters of George Weah. By the way, I told you many of them who said they supported George Weah before, but they don't support it anymore and stuff. I'm telling you, the time is coming. Some of these people will go back to CDC. It is part of the plan. I told you this, and I will tell you here tonight. I told you 2 years ago. CDC intentionally removed some of the people from the organs to layer them in the opposition and wait at the last minute to strike. You will see them. Don't be surprised. The job is to spread within this. The ANC's been the only political institution that have been very smart. That's why you hear that, the two-man wars again was coming. ANC people think they know all. Because let me tell you about the ANC. Say all you want. That structure is crafted in a way. They're very mindful as to how to bring people in the fold. Because they want authentic people. You can try that nonsense maybe in Liberia to the other people there, but I know in the diaspora, God forbid, you can't bring that nonsense here. because we see right through some of you. So some of you are cowards. You're bootlickers. You have no weight. You're a bunch of paper tigers or whatever it is. But you go on social media and you talk a bunch of rubbish, bunch of foolishness. But we don't give a damn about people like you because your ignorance is going to be countered with the truth. Because people who are sensible will listen to individuals who can better educate them. So these guys were planted in the collaboration. I wrote something today. They felt perhaps that their only attack, their only plan was all about Mr. Cummings. These people thought that it was all about Mr. Cummings. Go after him, do this to him. But it's the biggest mistake. Let me pause and I'll come back and get Peter. Peter, how are you?
More fire, Duke. Keep on firing. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of all the brothers and sisters who are down for this cause to turn Liberia around. So I just love hearing what you're saying one day. And continue to listen to you do what you do, man.
Thank you, Pete. Pete, tonight we're on something important here. I had a pause to have you come in and actually, talk to the people because, it's look, we're in a fight, and this fight is about good and evil, right? And it's about how we can educate our people to see through some of these characters. So go ahead and fire, brother.
So again, I love how you always start off chronicling what's going on, right?
Yes.
Go back all the way. It's like you have this little timeline that you drop. I love doing that. And how these people are regime collaborators, right? And here's where I want to start. I think I said this last week again. I'm going to say it again this week. Think of the people who want to assume leadership in Liberia, right? If they're not in leadership, if they're not in government, please tell me, what would they be doing? What are they doing right now? The ones who are not in government, right? I don't call them opposition. They're regime collaborators, right? Because we don't have the same ideology. What would they be doing right now? Let's start with Henry Costa. If there is no government job to be had, right? We're talking about desperate people, right? Maybe we're desperate. Okay, let's look at the facts. What would they be doing to make money? And are these people happy with the career they have? Muhammad Ali, what are you doing right now, sir? Is that the life that you thought you would live? So without government, will you be okay? The answer is no. Joseph Boycott, come to the stage. Right now, you're supposed to be in retirement. Without government, will you be okay? We know what the answer is no. You had to beg George Weah for money for medical thing. You made millions, and you still had to beg for money. The answer is no. Okay? George Lobo, did you do a career that you wanted to live? If there was no government on the table, will you be happy with your life right now? The answer is no. All these people, Yuri, right? Yuri, you are so desperate to be protected because you stole money. You stole money out the bank during the war. That's a fact that everyone knows it. And you need someone who's not going to hold you accountable. But that's not going to happen. So you're going to collaborate with people who will undermine the only man with integrity in the whole race. Listen to how he speaks. He's different than they are. Why would it be teaming up against this one man? Think about it. Why? If we all against George Weah, all want better for Liberia, why are you teaming up against this man? And you notice, Luke, when you hear these people talk, they never talk about ideas, how we're going to raise the country. All they talk about is how to manipulate people to win elections, right? And like they think they have a monopoly over it. All these people have this mindset that they're entitled. If you look at the background, George Lobo, the Muhammad Ali, all those people were part of government before. They have family members, someone who was in government. It's not because of their merit that they want to lead the country. It's not like I have so much to offer the country. They have nothing to offer. They want the country to offer, just like George Weah. They want the country to offer them something. They want our people and our resources to offer them something. So there's greed. So the question is, what is their motivation? So if Duke says a person like Darius DeLon, he's a regime collaborator. So like, well, it doesn't seem that way. He speaks against Joshua. What's his motivation? Well, his motivation is he doesn't like competence. He doesn't like competition. How do we know that? Look at the bills that he's pushed for to make sure that diaspora Liberians cannot compete in government with him. Because tell me the bill that this man has brought to the table that helps Liberia. Tell me one thing that he has done. He will post on his Facebook, posted last week, talking about, things that highlight, bro, we need to go back to session. Go back to session to do what? What were you doing before? Tell me one crime that you guys have solved. One problem that you have ever solved. Just tell me one. Pretenders, man. Pretenders. And these people need to be called out from the onset. We were telling these people, some people on our team, and we give credit to Cummings. He was giving people a chance. Like, well, give people a chance. We all come in open arms. We knew these people just wanted to get back to power. Like you said, Duke, they thought that CPP was created so that Joseph Boycott will go back to power, will bring UP back to power. And Cummings is supposed to be second to him. Think about that. They were never interested in competition. There's like, either let Joseph Boycott, I'm just going to go for one term and then you can come. Like, Liberia is like their toy, like their playground. It's George Weah Invisible 11 field. It's their playground. The lives of our people, the people who are dying, our girls who are getting raped, no jobs for our kids. I was just in Liberia, like I told you, a couple weeks ago. Bikes everywhere. Everybody's hustling. They think this is it. They just want to come and get whatever spoils they can get. That's all they're interested in. They're not interested in lifting our people up like Cummings is. Like, those of us who have careers and jobs and lives, and with our government, we didn't care about government. We just want to make sure our people are not manipulated anymore or taken advantage of anymore. And we're here to stay. Henry Costa, I don't care what you've told people before, how long you've been on some radio spewing propaganda to feed yourself. You're going to have to face this. There's going to be competition. You're going to have to win with ideas, with your intellect, with what you're offering the country, on your merit. Okay, George Lobo, same thing for you. Muhammad Ali, same thing for you. I know you're not Christian or Muslim, whatever you are, buddy, same thing for you. Pray to that God because you're going to need it. We're going to be here and we're going to make the case for our people. I'm going to go back on the ground. I'm going to go door to door with those people. And a lot of us are going to do the same thing. Our people need to hear from us because you're not going to make us a boogeyman anymore. We're going to tell our people the truth. These people need the government job. We don't. We need to help Liberia. Listen to what Cummings is saying. Don't even give me the money that you give for the president. Take that money and put it in integrity institution because I've done well because of Liberia. I've done really well in my life. Take the money and strengthen our integrity institution so that they can go after corrupt people. Name another politician in our lifetime who said that. Let me hear Joseph Boycott say the same thing. Let me hear him say. Let me hear him talk about the ideas that he has to fight corruption.
He won't say it. He won't say it.
Yeah. Well, tell us, why did you offer those ideas to Ellen? And if you did, did she reject it? Tell us when that happened, so we can settle that grumble between you and her. Liar. Tell us the economic ideas that you offered to Ellen. We want to hear it. That you think is going to create jobs in our country now. Tell us those ideas. Now, all of a sudden, George Lobo is some policy expert on the economy.
He's a joker. A complete comedian. Pete, I don't even like to mention that kid. The kid is a fluff, and he's a complete fluff, and I don't even waste my time mentioning him.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Those are talking heads, right? So people hear those.
No, absolutely, I got you. No, you're right. You're right.
I'm saying, no, he's a policy expert. Well, you can't be a policy expert unless you're an expert. And if you're an expert, you don't get to work at a call center at a bank. You get to be an expert, get paid expert money. So Well, I'm saying is those people who want to lead show your expertise.
You know, listening. I think we have a boss. We gotta do the official boss here and stuff. You know, this is where once you listen to me, you get this little slap sign once you hit a point. As you all know, this is unapologetic. It's unfiltered. We want people to be their natural self. That's what it's about. Pete, go ahead.
Yeah, so let me close with this, man. These people have the audacity to try to drag a good man down, right? The question is why? What's the motivation? The motivation is without government, they are nothing. They don't have to, they're not happy. They don't have the lives they have, right? To get to take money. Imagine Joseph Boycott who cannot even make it to court. That's a guy who's supposed to fight corruption in Liberia. That's a guy who's supposed to spur the economy. Roads, road, roads. He thinks slogans is going to get our people out of poverty.
Arts.
What are these people thinking? And they thought, like, listen, this is gonna sound controversial. The war, the good thing that came out of the war, poor people like us, like my parents were never in government, right? Poor kids some of us got to escape and got to learn how it works in other people's country. And the bad news for those people now who've been doing this from the true Whig party, the ones who bequeath position to their children, now they have to face us. You have real revolutionaries, right? We don't have to use guns. We have our minds. You're going to have to face us. You're going to have to face us. Anything you say, you're going to have to answer for. We're going to be here. We're going to fight for our people. Best believe this is for real. We're going to fight you tooth and nail from now to forever. You're going to have to win based on your merit. And I hope they're up for that. Thank you so much, Duke. Keep firing, man. I'm listening to you.
Thank you, Pete. Thank you, Pete. Hey, look, listen, guys, you've heard it from Peter. Peter is fiery. Look, he said the truth. Peter said the truth. These are the things that need to be discussed so our people can understand. Ladies and gentlemen, listening, I have to do some commercial. That's how we keep things going here. So, as you all know, there is something happening this Saturday wherein the ANC Global is kicking off its 2022-2023 fundraiser. We're inviting all of you to join us. And make sure you can come and support, even if you're not, a member of the ANC but you support Mr. Cummings' vision. I will go back to the line here and ask you to bring on another caller. Archie, what's up, my brother? No, listen, I was telling Pete, this is unapologetic. We do it raw and uncut, but we stick to the facts and we educate our people. So I know you're going to bring it. Let's go, man.
So when we talk about politics and opposition, we talk about concepts. We talk about what is it that we represent. Represent a specific type of change. And the change we're talking about now is the death to corruption, the death to thievery, the death to lies, the death to manipulation of information, the death to backdoor dealing, and the rebirth of accountability and nation building based on a core national identity. That's where we are. Now, the issue is being made very easily. Very, very easy. If you are in an opposition, and you take a stand against the concept and ideals of the opposition, you are an agent. Case closed. We don't have to go any further. If you are an opposition leader and you take a stand against the opposition concept and ideals, you are an agent. And what we've seen so far is, and some of us, we don't belong to any political party, but we look at the facts, right? The facts are important because when we look at these things, it's saying, one day, this guy is this person. One, he fingered the document. Okay, we check the document, there's no fingering. Next, he jumped over the sky. When we check it, he don't have superpowers. The next thing, he has a life problem. We check it, the people who calling in are doing a psychological displacement because they are the one that have the problem with with the particular type of lifestyle that they talk about.
Yeah.
Everything put forth is wrong. It's about themselves. In the end, what you are seeing is the dying of a corrupt idea, the dying of a corrupt ideology, and of the dying of a corrupt group of people that mean no good for anybody in the country. And we are now starting to see it. Everybody's saying that the case was about corruption. We come back today, they're talking about notary. What got to do with notary? Go ask NBC for their discussion on the notary process and how they want to do the document. That's not a political case. That's not a case in court. The case in court today is specifically about one thing. Was the document forged? Yes or no? Was the signature forged? Yes or no? In all its form, the answer is no.
Oh.
The only thing left is to throw the case out of court. And now you are having people going around, and this is the problem of Liberia. It's a concept that needs to die. You have blind loyalists and blind followers that just choose one thing and they follow it blindly. And that's why our country is not developed today. Because nobody can stand up to the political leader and ask him a very difficult question that he needs to answer. And because of that, our country is dying. Because of that, our country is dying. Imagine today. We have a functioning airport. We have a functioning airport today that has no electricity, but we're spending $6 million on building park. Talk about priorities. But yet, I see people all day on Facebook. Since 1847, nobody has ever built any park like this. Like, you have to be a moron and an idiot for you to spend $6 million on building a park. You can build a open for a revenue generating entity. Right? And nobody wants to talk about that. Everybody's there to sing, praise, and worship. But they want the country to develop. They want their children to have a future. If you don't like it because of my views on honesty and truth, it's okay. I'd rather die being honest and truthful to build my country than to be in association and in collaboration with somebody who I know will start me in the time later. But if you want to build a country, you have to be truthful. You have to understand that the CPP and everything that's happening here is a blunder. It's a blunder. The opposition blunder. And now the opposition gave a charged weapon, a nuclear weapon, to the ruling party that they want to replace. To their own detriment, they have become a prime agent in their own destruction. Out of greed and egotistical behavior, driven by the maximum, the greatest evil in this world, ignorance. This is political naivety and lack of strategy. It doesn't matter how an opposition hates itself. It always do things in the sense that in the future, this collaboration will come back and hold when we need each other for to get this prime objective, which is to remove this person as president in place, and we'll have to work together again. So everything, they may have disagreement, but the disagreement never go to the point where they lose trust in each other. They never get to that point. And what this opposition group has shown to us is they're incompetent and they cannot lead our nation because they lack the fortitude, the understanding, and the knowledge to move our country forward, and they're driven by greed. In short, they have become scavengers, focused only on their bellies, to the detriment of themselves, their children, and the future of the nation. And that's what we find ourselves today. And it's very sad that the greatest oppositions, the most intelligent people in our country, those who look to change our country, cannot come together and have peace and work together to move the country forward. But they will work as agents to destroy each other because if it's not me, it should never be you. And they wonder why we're always begging the IMF and World Bank for money, because we're a bunch of stupid people. We are trained to be competitive against each other instead of being collaborative and cooperatively working with each other. That's why we are poor. We're not poor because we don't have resources or natural materials. We are poor because of our ignorance, our greed, our ego, the demons of selfishness and wickedness and darkness. Those are the demons that are driving our political leaders today. And we can see it. Imagine one of the prime opposition leader having a photo shoot
With the Solicitor General.
with the Solicitor General.
Let's give him a boo on this one, Archie.
Who is prosecuting another opposition leader. But the thing they can unseat now, or sitting president, he must be joking. He's sleeping. And while you guys are in trying to honor each other, the president of the republic at his $6 million park playing football. Laughing at y'all. Y'all say he never went to school. He's not educated. He's dumb. But who's dumb now?
True.
Who's dumb now? So now you are telling me that you're trying to convince me that you're more intelligent than George here. So your actions say otherwise. Your actions say otherwise. And it tells me you are not eligible to lead that country. It tells me you are not in the interest of the people. Because if the people are not doing things, then this conflict in the opposition should not be resolved. We have problems. And if you guys want to do your separate ways, you should not do it again. Don't do your separate ways. Because you cannot respect a simple contract. If you can respect a basic contract,
Yeah.
how do you intend to rule a nation?
Tell me about it.
You can go to a simple primary and complete family. You can go to a basic, you can adhere to a basic contract, a very simple contract. You have bigger problems. And what this is for this supposed to be the most beautiful thing. It's very beautiful for me because now our country is dying so that it can be resurrected in the 21st century of information and closed loop systems. The way we can see your action, not justify the words that you say, but we can make a decision on your part.
Absolutely.
And that's what we are. And ridiculous. Ridiculous. I mean, we've created opposition. I've created so much free advertisement and propaganda for the ruling party that is not even funny. If we say we have to be American, because the amount of ammunition they've given to other people in Berlin, to all the rest of the you just say, put a gun in my hand and shoot it in my head. You put a gun in your head and go to a shot and then you shoot it in the head. That's what people don't even know.
Greed.
Political leaders, strategic thinkers for a nation building. I will know we have to think. I will continue to go ahead in a way with this shit. Only things like that, the next minute I'm photocopy. All that this. And you all know the case is a dog. A dog case. It's not real. Imagine the political process can be dragged on until the next year if the government so simply. The government can call root to call root to call forest or call yes and get them off. So they can give you money with this and they can continue to get their boundary. What do you want? Nothing. You're going to do nothing. If you can learn from the kids who buy some car, so you have to play is better to fail. And he that don't learn and has to better the future is the greatest anyone known ever made.
Regime collaborators, Archie. Regime collaborators.
You can learn from some countries. The warfare is real, but the
No, absolutely. Yeah. Look, and we'll expand on that for the coda next week. But it's pretty interesting, man. It is a draining story, but the good thing there is we're here to educate the Liberian people, and we're here to counter the myths, the lies, the deception, and leave it all into the hands of the Liberian people to be able to redeem the country, and they will have to use their minds and the collective abilities to determine that something's not right in the country. And some of the people who have been claiming to be solutions are part of the existing problems, and that there's only one person who can fix it, and that man is Mr. Comics. Yeah. Oh yes, clearly the NC is winning Maserati. Well, White House not going to win Lufthansa. It's going to be a toss up. Oh yeah, absolutely. But when you lie with dogs, you wake up with fleas. Actually, let's wrap up so I can be able to look on. Thank you, Archie. I appreciate it, brother. And we'll continue to speak to these issues. We're on every Wednesday at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Thanks for your contribution, my brother, and I'll follow up with you shortly. All right, people. I'm sorry that about the audio, but I think you probably got a gist of what he was saying. Let me make some adjustments. We have to do a quick commercial here because we have something important. And let me go and we'll come back to the final point. If you're looking to make a contribution, dial my number 443-226-2319.
The Global National Finance Committee presents the ABC 2022-2023 Grassroots Fundraiser. Money raised will allow us to support mobilization and recruitment efforts in Liberia. Mr. Alexander B. Cummings, standard bearer of the Alternative National Congress of Liberia, Vision for Liberia. Building a 21st century Liberia, combating corruption, create jobs and revitalize the economy, expanding education, good governance and rule of law, modernizing healthcare, developing the agriculture sector, changing hearts and minds. Please join us in Monrovia on Saturday, May 7th, 2022 at the ANC National Headquarters at 2 p.m. for a grand jamboree and fundraiser, and in the Diaspora Vice Zoom at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Zoom link for the Diaspora will be available soon. Mr. Cummings is ready to lead on day one. Your financial support will help our movement for real change in Liberia. We deserve a better Liberia.
We deserve a better Liberia. That's why we keep having this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, you're on Unapologetic. Absolutely, ANC strong. So, both of our callers touched on major points tonight. And, it leads me to the next part of our conversation here that I wanted to delve into a little bit so we can, be able to, bring this thing here to a close. So, something he said, look at the optics, look at the weapons that they've actually given to CDC. True, right? But the optics grasp, caught my attention. And guess what? You remember in 2017, there was this iconic photo that stirred up a lot of controversies in the Unity Party campaign and even amongst Liberians. And at that time, Unity Party partisans stood there, and they were the ones on social media and saying things about Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Why is this one who's the face of the Unity Party and have done all of these things go and put herself in that position and stand with George Weah when a party is in an election and all that nonsense? But yesterday, we saw something remarkable. Well, not really, but disappointing, yeah. Embarrassing. Embarrassing is the word. And we saw Joseph Boyka, the head of the same Unity Party that criticized Ellen Johnson Sirleaf for taking a photo. I believe it was the ceremony marking the official, the beginner construction of the Lo-Fi Road. Correct me if I'm wrong. Joseph Boyka got off his car, walked with the Solicitor General, the fake Solicitor General of Liberia, being escorted into a courtroom as star witness for the government of Liberia. Let me repeat this. Joseph Boyka, the one who was actually, or who is the current standard bearer of the Unity Party, member of the opposition political party, the last contestant in the second round against the CDC administration, the one who told the Liberian people months ago that this collaboration needs to work because the Liberian people are suffering from George Weah's ineptitude. The one who claimed to have spoken against corruption and against the antics of George Weah, criticized the CDC administration. The same Unity Party people who spent countless hours criticizing George Weah, calling him inept, criticizing his leadership, calling his government as corrupt, saying that there's no justice in the country. People are getting murdered. The former vice president, the man who contested the past election, the one that criticized Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, expelled her from the party for affiliating with George Weah, got out of his car yesterday and was walked into a courtroom as a star witness for the corrupt George Weah administration against the leading opposition figure in our political body. That deserves a boo. Joseph Boyka, the one that it says got all of these leadership strengths, the one that Unity Party partisans claim that would be a different leader that would be able to change Liberia, sat there, made himself vulnerable, became part of this so-called play by the CDC administration, and walked into the courtroom also, assisted by the criminal solicitor general of a corrupt government. My people, we've seen and heard it all. How desperate can you be? Or is this the truth coming to light? You remember there used to be a time when people said that this thing is being orchestrated by higher ups in the Unity Party. Some people say, no, you're not keep quiet. The old man knows about these things. Perhaps this is the same reason why Ellen Johnson Sirleaf did not support him in 2017. Imagine. I've stayed away from having this detail of a conversation I've tried to stay away from having the detailed conversation, but I have to. Emmerich, how are you?
Good. What's up? What's going on?
Not bad, not bad. So I want to make sure that the volume is working right. And so just go ahead and talk.
Actually did not pay a phone bill on time,
Oh.
so they had to like, what do you call that? I'm just kidding.
No, probably I hope it wasn't from this end, but
No, it's from his headphone.
okay. So y'all please let me know in the field, I mean in the audience, if you guys are hearing Emmerich. But Emmerich, let's go ahead and talk.
Yeah, dude, a lot is going on. This is what we need to do. Okay? We need our people. We need to disseminate the information slowly that they will understand. Am I saying our people dumb? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying our people, they believe in concrete information. That is to say, build a picture of what's happening. They will understand exactly. They're not stupid. Okay? If you look at having speaking engagements all over in Basa, we got better chance of making gains. The reason why is simple. Because we have not had anything tangible, anything yet tangible from the accusers, to say Mr. Cummings is corrupt, Mr. Cummings lacks integrity, those things. So it's up to us to control the narrative. And I will encourage everyone out there, all of ANC's or partisans, sympathizers, members, and so. You were born in Liberia. You grew up in Liberia. It's about time. One thing I will tell you, we in the diaspora, we got influence on the people back home. Go to your communities where you grew up. Start to have town halls. If you need help, contact me. I will show you as to how, because these are the things that I'm doing now. That's why you don't see me visible on Facebook. If we don't connect with our people, if there's a disconnect with the electorates, we're going to have a problem. Because what's happening right now, the other group is feeding into propaganda, lies, and so to mislead our people. So what we need to do to be able to disrupt that and let our voices be heard is to reach out to our different communities and start having town halls and start connecting our people. If you haven't done it, we need to do it. If you've been doing it on an individual basis, and so it's time that you start in your communities, and so start having town hall to invite everybody. That's what I see. Because once they start to listen to you, and I'm sure each one in ANC is gifted, we're going to start this renaissance that's going to change Liberia. It's been working. It's been working. I've been doing it for 3 to 4 months, and it's been working. Back to the issue, Duke. You see what's happening? The goalposts being moved from one thing, from alterations, the case about forgery, and then now we're being focused on whether the copy of the framework document is colored or not colored. You see people who have not worked in any professional environment telling our people, leading our people. My thing there, we need to fill up that role to tell people that you can have original in black and white. You can have legal document in black and white. You can have notarized document in black and white. Nothing is wrong with it. We have to break it down and explain these things to our people. The reason why our people, and I will tell you, Liberians are not dumb. So many times, I will tell you, each time people contact me in my inbox to say, what you wrote, I like it. I believe it because they got facts and so and so. We all in ANC, we need to support our own.
Yes.
We need to support, come on these platforms, come on these comments that people from ANC, maybe if you're not good at writing, everybody is different.
Simple.
Everybody is different in speaking, in writing, and so if you're not good at it, be supportive. There are ways that you can be supportive. But if you sit quietly and don't support these things, then propaganda, because propaganda goes by momentum.
Momentum.
momentum. And this is where I think we have to do better. You can go and see, comment and spread it and share it and like it. Then another person who's seeing your page and seeing it, reading it will like it. And these are the things that we need to do. I came on specifically to encourage people that sympathize with ANC, people that support ANC, people that are members of ANC, to start to look at these things and observe it on Facebook, on social media, other social media, and support these things. When you see your life that is in support of the good things of Mr. Cummings, you spread it. You go there, you counter negative comments and so. That's how you start to win. Because Liberians, we are driven by optics.
Yes.
Once you see where the momentum is, the crowd is, good things going that way, people make decisions based on those things. So, going to the issue, the court, and I for one, I would never ever support this government, even against just a human worker. I would never do it. You know the reason why I would not do it? Simple. I will not validate something that I've criticized on a continual basis. If I have said this government is corrupt and then there's nothing has changed to convince me that this government means business, even against, and I'll be frank, against Costa, I will not support the government because I will be shooting myself in the leg. And many people will say, well, you support that Delon, you support that Costa, you do this. The reason why, because ANC, we are conscious-minded people. We are people that stand for the right thing. And it's not wrong being with ANC. I like ANC because I know what the people stand for, what they believe in, what they support. They support the rightness of things being done. They support, they want to be counting history as people that stood up for what's right, not wrong. So that's why you see, dude, my conviction about people have interacted with so many people in ANC. You know, our thought processes and so, we almost similar. We don't live together. We don't sit and have meetings to decide on things. We don't do ANC. But you see, when someone comes up with the defense that, oh, you people from ANC, when they start name calling us, then I know that person has nothing. The only thing that person sees, smart people that are driven by truthfulness, that are driven by the conviction that Mr. Cummings can change Liberia. The people use the word, he's desperate. What's wrong with being desperate? If you see Liberia, even behind Sierra Leone and Guinea and those other countries that were way behind us before the OAU convention and in the 70s, and so people leaving from Ghana, people leaving from Guinea, Ivory Coast, and other places will come to the university in Liberia to go to school. Okay, the OAU was born in Sanikole. And then up to today's date, too, if you look at our history, we are lagging behind. The reason why we are lagging behind is simple, because of our bad behaviors and practices, and so we haven't changed. Okay, we have voted the same way all along. The question there, what are we going to lose if we take that risk with Mr. Cummings? What are we going to lose? What are we going to lose? We are already down. We have already lost. So what are we going to lose? The only reason why is simple, very, very simple. And I will say, you see, when people know, especially in Liberia, the people that are killers of a system, a good system, the people that are killers of integrity, the people that are killers of honesty, and so they will always support, they will always aid and abet this inept and corrupt government. We have criticized the government for so long. You see how contradictory JMD is. He's been on so many occasions criticizing this government, right?
Yeah.
But then you see the same person who is in cahoot and then smiling with everybody in this government and so. I would not be smiling with someone like Serena Seaforth and so when I know fully well that this is a misdemeanor case. But you got murder cases unresolved. You got worse cases unresolved. But then you pay so much attention. The reason why the magnitude of this case to their survivability, okay, is what's driving the case. And CDC is using one stone. We should not make them to be geniuses and so. They're not smart.
Absolutely, they're not smart. They're not smart because this can bite them in the back too.
Go ahead, dude.
No, Emma, you're right. They're not smart. And we should stop making the same. The reason why this thing continue is because they've been enabled by elements within the opposition, like the Joseph Boycott, and collaborated with them. That's why this is going on. CDC is not smart.
I will say it this way, okay? When they strangulate them, they have no way out. The one-way traffic. When they're not in the public sector, they don't make money, they don't live. Nothing they can do. They don't survive. So what do they have to do? Succumb to the same administration because that's their daily bread. That's how they eat. That's their livelihood. So, dude, we see these things. This is a repeat of what happened in the past. That some people, they signed this covenant with Charles Taylor when they, they opposed Taylor, right? But they couldn't survive. Okay, but my point is simple. If you know you are an opposition, dude, that's one thing you cannot do. Optics is important. Like you talk about when the groundbreaking ceremony in Lofa, when Ellen showed up with, we are.
Yeah.
That was an endorsement right there. And our people believe in optics. So what happened? Right there, that was a clear indication that he was the best person to lead the country. And our people believed it. Whether we didn't believe it, but they believe it, right? So this is the issue with our country. And that's the reason why I encourage each one of you to go out there and start to go in your communities where you grew up, people that you still got connections with, and so to start to do these things in town hall. And so I've been doing it, it's working. So if I have like more than 200, 300, 400 people in the diaspora doing it, I will tell you we'll make massive gain for Mr. Cummings. Massive gains for Mr. Cummings. No matter what people say, people in the diaspora, they control the narrative. You don't believe it? Try to believe it. So if you look at what's happening in Liberia, dude, to see that Mr. Boyka was to testify today is being delayed over and over, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know the reason why it's being delayed is simple. There's nothing to testify on. Nothing. There's no case. So what's happening? Let's play delay tactics and create all these noises and distractions all around the place to confuse our people further, because they know our people do not have the level of sophistication to look into being objective.
Yeah.
Look into the issue on their own, to have minds of their own to say. Today when I woke up, someone sent me a message. I see that someone like Costa who lives, he lives in America, to say that if the print that if the document is not in color, then it's not the original. I'm like, oh my God, man, I wish I could hire this boy for him to be in the office in the meantime. It's the truth. I'm not making mockery of the situation, but these are the people that want to be leaders in our country. And to me, the same thing we did with Weir. We did not nurture him, mold him to become a future leader. That's the reason why we suffer. So I blame it also on the society. We don't prepare people. And don't mistake, these people you see hanging around, if the society doesn't do well to prepare them and mold them to become leaders, these are the same people who are going to recycle tomorrow, and we'll be blaming ourselves.
Yeah.
So when I say I'm not making mockery of Costa, but I say have a job, because some of us took the challenges to have jobs in this country to see how things are done. Like when we going back home, we'll be resourceful. We'll be people that you can sit and we'll say, okay, we can bring about change in institutions and so that are autonomous. So one thing I will tell you, I look at the NEC. NEC. I look at the government, I look at all of those things. You know the reason why I don't even praise NEC? Simple, dude. Simple. The government from the initial stage, from the onset, this government was, rolling back all of the policies, laws, and rules and regulations that kept these institutions autonomous. Once you do that, the confidence is gone. You cannot get an institution that should be independent to make an objective and informed judgment on anything. So that's the reason why you see, dude, I don't support when you see me when I write. I go into critical thinking and say, why must I support NAG? Even if the rule today in favor of Cummings or so, I will still not do it.
Yeah.
The reason why I will not do it is simple. The whole place been compromised. Even before the person who was in charge, I think called Deviator or so, there was a lot of quarrels all around. And we have to be upfront. We have to present these things. They say she's been in a relationship with Ria. So people kicked against it. They still had the confirmation hearing. She got there. But then the thing about it, when you have had a relationship, or when you have a relationship with a person a person that is intimate, and then he's the executive, the head of the executive, that alone, that compromise. Am I accusing her? No. But I'm saying the probable cause to point to why NEC is a complete mess. Okay? That's the reason why NEC is demonstrating a level of incompetence. And we see it. We know it. But, I'm not going to sit and nitpick on to say, why this person, why that person. And so I'm talking about a system to tell you how the system is being tainted, the system is being compromised. Once you take the independence from that system and you have political influences within that system, then there's nothing that is good from that system. Nothing that is good from that system. And that's all I'm saying. The point there right now, they don't know how to proceed. Okay, all these confusions. So you see this integration between usability and the Solicitor General Serena Seaforth. We see it. Okay, because after the case had gone on for so long, Musa Dean, the Justice Minister, who should have had the evidence ever since, he's asking for the evidence now, dude. He's asking for the evidence. So, what was the reliance into proceeding? What did he rely on as the evidence to proceed with the case? Because our constitution, possibility, is the one to be able to say, okay, we got enough evidence, and so. But if he did not have it, why did the case even start? So many things I see wrong too. We'll spend our time, our lifetime here talking from one thing to the other. And so many things I see wrong with our system. It's because we have incompetent people. The aptitude is so high. People are unsophisticated. And the lack of, the education and practical experience to play a role too. So we see these things happening, we still support. We sit and we support it, and we sit, we champion it. But if I were a policy of UP, trust me, I wouldn't give credence to this because it's not going to work in my interest. CDC is using one stone to kill so many birds. That's all they do. They're talking. If you look at Brownie Samoka, let us look at Brownie Samoka. You know the reason why UP couldn't talk? They already validated the system, the court system. That just like I talked about and said the court system is so corrupt, the system, the country is corrupt, and this and that. And then a man of integrity now, smiling or somebody who doesn't have integrity too. I would never give a smile or a wink to anyone who does not have it. I would never do it. I would never be friendly with that person. When I respect that person, I can respect people without being friendly with the person. Okay? That's a clear difference. So we see these things are by design. And when people have this level of vindictiveness in them, no apparent reason, that's what happens. They get confused. Until you compromise your own integrity. Until the so-called name that you got, the wisdom, and so the wisdom will go. Okay? Solomon, you're not Solomon. You can be Solomon. Because you don't have the judgment of Solomon. It is the truth. They sit and say, this man is a man of wisdom, but how can you be a wisdom when you have not spoken on anything? You don't see anything. Are you a dumb wisdom man or man of wisdom? There's nobody who will have wisdom and don't talk. Because even when they brought the babies, right? You saw them how to speak. When they brought the two women, he so he had to speak. He said, he gave the option to see who were going to say, we can't kill the baby, and so you can take the baby because I don't want to kill the baby. And the other one said, we should split the baby, and so So you see, Solomon made a decision over there. So as for CPP, we keep talking about the CPP. Like you said, I listened to everything you said. People got so much burden right now. They did not pay their dues ever since because they already have their ulterior motive. Dude. Okay, they didn't have vested interest. And that's the reason when you say vested interest, I say the guy is a freaking finance guy. When you talk about vested interest, when you have vested interest, let me tell you that you have put resources into it. You can't let it die. You protect it when you have vested interest. Come on, analogy you just used. I said, damn, it's not because you're my cousin, but you're freaking smart.
It's got to the on.
No, it's the truth. When you have vested interest, dude, you don't let things to just go bad. You protect it. So the initial stage, they knew what they were doing. They didn't have vested interest in the CPP by, their actions of not paying dues, not doing anything, and so just being complicit and sitting and watching and so. Because they came in with this mindset. But what happened? They were too quick to show their card, their play hands and so to be disrupted because they couldn't come back and pay their dues. They didn't have money to pay their dues. You see, then you say Joseph Walker got, ethics, he's a man of integrity. Any man of integrity will not be late on his bills. People that got integrity can be late on their bills. People that got integrity will not, I would say it this way, people that got integrity, they will ignore bills, legitimate bills that will come to them. Because it's a part of their integrity that you used a service given to you, you have to pay for it. It's simple as that. You can say you have integrity, dude, and you say, oh, I use the cell phone company called me, so I don't want to be with them or go different, you don't pay the bills. You use the service. Let us be truthful. Let us be caring about our issues. These are the simple things. These are the things that we take for granted, and these are the things that keep moving our country in the wrong direction. Because we take these things for granted. Now you see he's at the mercy of CDC because I heard every month I'll be calling, they leave money as well as semi. My point there is something is legislated. If something is legislated, you don't need to beg for it. You don't need to beg for it. You don't need to be at their mercy. But then we ask ourselves the same question. How can we move forward as the opposition if we have people that are compromised? Even if it's inadvertent, they're still being compromised. They aid and abet. I saw today, partisan from UP, bullying Mr. Cummings.
Wow.
That was disgraceful.
Embarrassing
Because
wow.
You know what, dude? I would never in my lifetime boo Jose Yoma Boyka because you know what I'm doing? I'm aiding and abetting this inept, incompetent, corrupt, and kleptocratic government. That's all I'm doing. Look, I will let you go and let people talk because we all have our roles to play. I will encourage each and every one of you from ASC. Get out there, go to your communities, start having town halls. Call me, hit me up, and I will show you how to do it, how I am doing it. We all can do it, and we'll start doing all of these things. We're not even talking much on Facebook, but we'll be, connecting to our communities where we lived before we came to the States, and we are still connected to our communities to sell their ideas, the aspiration, the vision, the mission of Mr. Cummings and ASC. That's all we need to do. So I would say thank you, for the time. And I appreciate what you all do. Sometimes we fall back because we are all busy. But we're going to keep connected. We're going to work together to make sure that we are winners. Okay? So thank you.
Emmerich, I appreciate it. This is always a valid point. You bring this. Look, this is our platform. This is our opportunity to educate people. Like you said, ANC partisans, support your own. Come here, give us the motivation needed to keep being on here and talking, in the interest of Liberian people. Some of you are not skilled talkers. Some of you are not the everyday politicians, But some of you follow these platforms, you're listening, you're regulars on some of these shows, right? So make it your duty to support us. Emery, thank you so much, man. So much valuable knowledge. It helps when people like you are calling because it allows us to sit back a little bit and just allow the people to talk to you as well. So hopefully we'll do another show where you can come on the podcast, we can talk and bring a panel to discuss. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay,
Thanks, bye.
perfect. All right. Oh, excuse me there. So, so listening, I apologize about that. So, Emmerich made a salient point. All of our people who called on the show tonight made valuable points. The truth here is there is something wrong with our society. Part of the thing that's wrong with our society are some of those people who have told you before that they're here to change Liberia. What kind of sense does it make a man who's the former vice president to become star witness for a corrupt government, the same government that he criticized? What kind of sense does it make, my people? Do you have that much malice in your heart? Are you that spiteful? Because there's no other explanation for this. Then they make up the story, oh, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Oh, so you're trying to play the role of Ellen Johnson Sirleaf for the same thing that you accused her of in 2017. You see how heartless that is? But listening though, young people of Liberia, all of you have a shared responsibility in redirecting this suffering that these people are forcing upon you. Because think about it. Some of these politicians won't have the control that they think that they have if some of you were not giving them your votes. You sit here and encourage these people to do things, they're going to fade away soon. They're going to go away from politics. This is the end of Joseph Boyka's political career, truthfully speaking. But what happens to you? Your family's got to live with the consequences of ineptitude, something that we told you all in 2017. We cannot allow these people to orchestrate the takedown of something that should be working for the people of Liberia. The truth here is we are fed up with the Weah administration. Liberians are tired with all of the shenanigans that we've seen thus far. And they cannot afford another 6 years of a Weah regime. And mind you, I shared this post and I wrote something about Plan 2029. Some of these sickles in their own twisted minds think that they can go ahead and undermine Mr. Cummings. And let's get we at it here again. And then it's going to be all about us in 2029. Think about it. That a stupid DeLon, a thief like Henry Costa, those roaches and those cockroaches can tell you today that they are primed for leadership or poised for leadership in 2029. And they are orchestrating everything. Thinking that the Liberian people are so foolish in their minds. They think that Liberians are stupid to settle for the little play. But I got news for them. Because this resistance is not going away. And I think the Liberian people are way smarter because they show Henry Costa that they're not interested in his body of politics. The Liberian people made it clear when they elected Reverend Anders and Costa on a Euro ALP ticket. I thought he thought that being on radio was going to give him an opportunity to get a position. The Liberian people in his district said, please, you're not somebody we want. You're corrupt. You have no credibility, no integrity. We are not giving you leadership in our country. Darius DeLon only became elected because of Mr. Cummings. And the Liberian people, we were fed up with the same George Weah administration. Get it right, Dylan. Liberians elected you because they were fed up with George Weah and his antics, and nothing has changed. They still feel the same way that they feel about George Weah, felt about George Weah when they elected you, Darius DeLon. Now they're even upset that you've become a ball boy for the Weah administration. The Liberian people understand that you dashed their hopes and their aspirations. Liberians are convinced that Darius DeLon became everything that he criticized George Weah for. They have boxed you into this narrative that people like you are worthless when it comes to the redemption of Liberia. You think that you still have the support of the Liberian people? If elections were held today, knowing what we know, Darius DeLon would not even earn 4,000 votes. If elections were held today in Montserrat, the smart people of Montserrat, our educated people in Montserrat, those young people who wake up every day and feel the pinch of oppression in the Weah administration, those who have been marginalized, those who watch the friends, the sisters, the brothers being executed in the regime, the same young people who sit on the University of Liberia and call the Weah administration a complete disappointment, understand that you are a regime collaborator. Yes, they understand that. The people of Liberia understand that Darius DeLon, Yomli Kanga, Joseph Boyka, Henry Costa, and all of these nitwits who became overnight partners, agents of the Weah administration to orchestrate the takedown of the opposition. They are regime collaborators, cockroaches. They do not side with the people of Liberia. When it came to putting the people of Liberia ahead, they put their own personal interests ahead. For them, it was all about money. It was all about greed. It was all about they and the family, and not the interests of the people of the Republic of Liberia. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Darius DeLon will pay. Yombli Kanga will pay. All of those nitwits who have orchestrated the takedown of something promising for the Liberian people, they will pay. A judgment day will come their way. And it's so stupid that people who say that something was tampered with in a document today cannot provide evidence. They've thrown all kinds of accusations. And the so-called case is now all about propaganda. The CDC administration sees them for exactly what they are. Power-thirsty, greed-obsessed nitwits who only care about their own interests. The man called Joseph Boyka, who people claim had so much wisdom and should have been in the interest of the Liberian people, is now star witness for the same disruptive, dishonest government that they've criticized. Remember the good old days? They claim that the reason why they established the opposition bloc was because our people were struggling. I still remember that the government was corrupt, $16 billion. No justice. That man from Central Bank disappeared in thin air. Matthew Innes. You remember those stories? They said that our people were dying. And leadership cannot be given to the government of Liberia. Those same people who made those remarks today are now star witnesses. They're now partners to the same regime, the same administration that criticized. Liberians, wake up. How can the people tell you that this Weah man is corrupt and bad? And then they turn around and start partnering against him to go after Alexander Cummings. The truth is, Mr. Cummings was the only or is the only clean hands in this particular opposition. He is the only person who is competent enough from day one to start changing Liberia's story. Mr. Cummings come in with a rich background that matches everything that we're looking for in terms of providing jobs for young people, giving our older employees who have retired a fitting pension to survive, fighting for small business owners, looking at the hopelessness in our people and turning it around into optimism and real life solutions. This is why they've never discussed anything tangible. They've never told you how they'll be able to lift that economy from the depths of failure. This is why they've never been about consistently telling you how they're going to be different than the we administration. In fact, they have shown you how similar the similarities when it comes to all of those bad practices, those bad tendencies that we've seen in this joke of an administration. Today, the Unity Party died. Today, the ambitions of Mr. Boycott died. Today, all of those people who said they were in the interest of the Liberian people made it clear that they're not. And yesterday, when Joseph Boycott came out of that car and walked with the criminal solicitor general, winked at him, and Unity Party partisans joined them and celebrated with the Weir administration, the Unity Party officially died yesterday. The parties of people who once believed in the redemption of Liberia, built on the backs of politicians, visionaries who thought that Liberia needed a new form of leadership based on credibility, based on our expertise, based upon solutions. That party died. And like I've said, and will always say, love or hate Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, but the day that she decided to walk away from the Unity Party, everything that institution represented went away with her. And it was left in the hands of bootlickers, greedy politicians, individuals who were only about their own interests. They have never poured anything into that party. All they've done is brought with them destruction. They have destroyed a political party that was once the pride and joy of many young people in that country. Today, some of these young people sit down in shame, embarrassed that the party have been or is now at the front of public ridicule. When Joseph Boycott decided to step out of that vehicle and walk or allow himself to be escorted as star witness for the government of Liberia, he told the Liberian people that he was done with them. And it was all about him. Him, him, him. He told the mothers who were weeping for the children that it is no longer about them. He told the people at the University of Liberia, the Vanguard Student Unification Party, and all of those comrades who are in the fight to redeem Liberia from the claws of destruction and poor leadership, that he doesn't care about them, that you're on your own. Come 2023, you should remember this. Just how you stormed the polling station and sent a loud message to George Weah and his people, you must then use that in 2023 to send a loud message to all of those regime collaborators and the regime and tell them that we're tired and Liberians are ready for change. Real change, that is. Real change that will give our people job opportunities. Real change that will not look at our young girls who have been killed and tell us it's tuberculosis when it's something else. Real change that will give justice to this young man who disappeared from their homes only to be found lifeless in the street of Monrovia. Yes, real change to the over 80-something% of young people who are unemployed. Real change to all of the students of the University of Liberia who do not even have all the resources needed to acquire quality education. Real change to all of those Liberians who sit in the walls of JFK without proper medication. Real change to all of those government workers who have put blood, sweat, and tears working for government only to leave public office, cannot get pension payments, and they have been ridiculed or reduced to witness their people lie in despair. The children cannot even get tuition to pay the schools. The young daughters are resorting to prostitution. We need real change, and we need to send a resounding message. Don't listen to them when they tell you that this is about something that happened to a framework document. My people, nothing happened to that document. They have not shown you exactly what was done, what was illegal. How was this thing tampered with? What did Mr. Cummings do that changed anything? No. It was part of the plan to collaborate with CDC to undermine the interests of the Liberian people. Because tell me, people who have evidences will show up to court. People who have proof were presented. The case should have ended. Today, these people should have provided all of the evidence that they say that they had, so the Liberian people can be the judge. But they have nothing, because there was nothing there. The only thing they did was disrespect the minds of our people, take our people for a ride, use the propaganda to drag our people away. And Liberians, let me remind you, some of you know that you only voted for George Weah because you hated the Unity Party. Some of you only went to the polling station in 2017 because your guts hated everything that the Unity Party, some elements from the Unity Party represented. You refused to support the Unity Party in 2017 and opted for the Weah administration. Not because you thought that George Weah was fake, because you were sick and tired of the Unity Party. You cannot let your guards down. This is the same despicable, sick, uncomfortable, nasty, corrupt elements. These are the same jokers that you despise. In addition, these are the same cowards and bootlickers that are now collaborating with the George Weah who have let you down. Don't blame Mr. Cummings. Blame those same people you hated before, because they've shown you yet again that they cannot be trusted. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to say thank all of you for joining us on another amazing podcast of Unapologetic. We are here every week, weekly Wednesdays at 8:30, talking about the issues, bringing a new narrative. We are all about the Liberian people and the ANC because we buy into the vision of Mr. Cummings. So ANC partisans, wherever you are, mark your calendar, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am going to be live, God willing, every day to 2023, because we have to lend our voices to educate the Liberian people. Share the message, share the link, let our people know that Duke is on at 8:30 Wednesday Eastern Standard Time, and he's bringing the heat. I want to say thanks to all of you. We will continue this discussion. Listen, just to close up, let me remind you, let me be honest with you. Listen, today was a fluff. Don't believe a damn thing coming out of the mouth of people who are regime collaborators. There was nothing there to complain about. Mr. Cummings did nothing wrong. This is why they don't have any proof. They don't have any evidence. The only thing that they run around with, propaganda. Today, Joseph Boyka should have showed up to court. Did not show up. The Solicitor General did not show up. These people are bent on prolonging this case and continue to play with the minds of the Liberian people. Let me say this before I end this podcast. before you start turning your arrows on the CDC administration. This is a call to ANC partisans, all of you who love Liberia. Make Monrovia uncomfortable for the likes of Darius DeLon. Follow these people wherever they go. Pressure them, shame them, go after them, bring them to public ridicule. Tell the Liberian people that Darius Dillon, the Joseph Boyka, the Yombi Kanga, all of them are not in the interest of the people. Young people on the campus of the university, the UMU, the AMUU, all walks of life, all over Monrovia. Those of you who have been marginalized because of the corrupt practices of these individuals, take to the streets, follow them to the entertainment spots. Push them away. Go after them. Tell them that we're sick and tired. This is a mandate, and all of you must answer because you know what? Liberia needs your courage to be able to change the mindset and the trajectory of our country. Real change is coming. That real change is in Mr. Comics, and we need all of you to be witnesses. Again, this is Duke Unapologetic. I want to say again, thanks to all of you for joining us. Thanks to all of you for following us, listening. This has been a really, really, really awesome podcast. We will continue to do what we can to make sure we're bringing real change to Liberia, educating our people about all of the things that needs to be done for our people to be able to vote wise in 2023. We need all of you. We need all of you. We need to put Liberia first. You have a good evening. No need to say cheese. Your beauty carry the G's. No competition, you take it with ease. And ladies and gentlemen, this is how we like to bring the curtains on another session of Unapologetic. This is your boy Duke Estrada JJ. You know we put Liberia first in all that we do. It ain't gonna be easy, people, but don't give up. Liberia is worth fighting for. I know some of us take time away from our families and our personal lives, and we're on social media talking. Don't take it for granted. You're impacting the lives of people. Let me tell you a story, man. I used to be the kind of guy that wasn't interested in being out there, being all over social media and talking. I would look at things funny and say, you know what, nah, I'm cool. I'm too cool to be, doing stuff like this. But I realized, look, listening, we have to collectively lend our hands when it matters the most. And that's why I'm doing this. It's my way of giving back. It's my way of standing up. And so I want to encourage you to become comfortable in your fight for Liberia. Don't see it as funny. Don't see it as not too cool. Trust me, it is worth it. And I have no regrets because Liberia is fire first. Thank you, Berta, for joining us tonight. Miata Dekina, Sis Miata was here earlier. Billy Blinkentush Kamara. I want to tell you thank you for being a part of what we're doing here. Excuse me. And it has been a blessing having all of you. I just went off on YouTube and my other page. But yeah, thank you, my people. I appreciate all of you.
ABC Global National Finance Committee presents the ABC 2022-2023 Grassroots Fundraiser. Money raised will allow us to support mobilization and recruitment efforts in Liberia. Mr. Alexander B. Cummings, standard bearer of the Alternative National Congress of Liberia, Vision for Liberia. Building a 21st century Liberia, combating corruption, create jobs and revitalize the economy, expanding education, good governance and rule of law, modernizing healthcare, developing the agriculture sector, changing hearts and minds. Please join us in Monrovia on Saturday, May 7th, 2022 at the ANC National Headquarters at 2 p.m. for a grand jamboree and fundraiser, and in the Diaspora Vice Zoom at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Zoom link for the Diaspora will be available soon. Mr. Cummings is ready to lead on day one. Your financial support will help our movement for real change in Liberia. We deserve a better Liberia.